A lot of us here can spend hours reading up on tech articles and watching videos every single week. But have you ever stopped to consider that tech is cool? Let's talk about it. I've had a thought churning in my head over the past couple of days, and that's tech enthusiasts oftentimes take tech for granted, whether they mean to or not, and for different reasons. Sometimes consumer tech has come so far. Cool things that came out years and years ago are now the norm. Now, I'm not out here saying you should appreciate all the ones and zeros that go into your favorite apps and video games. But man, in the past 10 to 15 years, things have gotten wild, especially thanks to the internet. For example, let's take navigation. A lot of us rely on apps like Waze and Google Maps on a daily basis to get to our destinations on time. But it's easy to forget that things haven't always been this robust and feature-filled. We can certainly go back to the era of paper maps that you would buy from like AAA or a rest stop. I'm the map. But one of my first memories of the internet was using MAPQUEST.
You're getting too old for this.
You would type in your point A, your point B, hit enter, and it would give you a list of turn-by-turn directions and a map that you would print out on a piece of paper to take on your road trip. Actually used it a lot to help my family get the car down from New York all the way to Disney World. The 18-hour drive might have sucked, but at least we didn't get lost. If not for MapQuest, there were personal GPS devices, whether it was built into your car's head unit or an actual handheld device, both of which were totally fine for the time, albeit expensive, at which point you just relied on MapQuest more. But then we saw the advent of the smartphone, which is closer to the experience that most of us have today. It took a few years off the line to get GPS turn-by-turn directions reliable enough to replace a dedicated navigation unit, though the transition period was surprisingly interesting. One of the first things I always wanted to try as a budding tech enthusiast was the TomTom GPS navigation system for the iPhone. You paid $99 for the app and an extra $100 for a kit that would enhance the GPS, speaker, and microphone of your iPhone to make it a proper TomTom replacement. Man, we've come a long way since. Nowadays, Google Maps is info-rich, with constantly updated traffic, transit, and foot directions to adjust your trip on the fly. As well as Waze telling me that there's a cop 5 miles away to help me avoid a speeding ticket. We can certainly appreciate these things as they are now, but I think it's easy to take for granted just how good we have it, especially compared to what it was like in the past. Time is one aspect that can cause people to take things for granted, and visibility is a whole other. It's easy to forget how good things can be, especially if they mainly work behind the scenes. Take computational photography in smartphones. This allows us to take amazing photos in the moment without having to worry about fine-tuning settings. In fact, it's gotten so good that photos taken on today's phones in many ways rival those taken on a proper camera. However, the best example I have lined up is the algorithm. Yep, spicy. The algorithm is a very easy thing to hate, and I see why. All it takes is watching one 9/11 video for like 30 minutes, and all of a sudden, that's all of your recommendations. But playing devil's advocate, I think the algorithm is pretty cool. One, it's working as intended. Don't watch that video for 30 minutes, it thinks you like it. But two, both users and the service alike thrive on curated content. It gets us watching stuff for longer periods of time, which means the system can serve us more ads and generate more money. It's a win-win. Plus, in a very weird way, even if services like TikTok and YouTube are pulling way more data on me than they actually need, guys, it works super super well. It knows me better than my best friends do, my parents. It knows me better than my own self. That's how YouTube has found me new music artists and YouTubers to follow. And TikTok is even scarier, but I let it go in this scheme of getting awesome content fed to me. Between that and the mild success I've seen here on YouTube with this channel, all thanks to the algorithm, it's one of those things I try not to take for granted because it serves me so well in many ways. Plus, it's how we got connected. Aww. And if you like what you see on here, you should also hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to get notified on when I upload more videos. Okay, so I mentioned time and visibility as two reasons for how tech enthusiasts can take things for granted. But a third and less straightforward reason is when they engage in debate, especially over the internet. And that's because it's a place where it's easy to get caught up in negativity. With lots of content to consume across various websites with focuses and communities driving them, best case scenario, it can lead to fun conversation. However, because the internet is the way that it is, everybody has an opinion. Now first, let me be clear. Having an opinion isn't a bad thing. They can help inform our knowledge on something, especially for constructive pieces like reviews. Those can help consumers figure out whether they should buy something or not. Also, contrast and conflict naturally make for better content. Without it, sports and movies would be stale as f. But in the heat of excitement over discussion, it can be easy to lose sight of the fact that at the end of the day, tech is really f***ing cool. Consider this. How often do you think about smartphones, whether they're running iOS or Android? The fact that they are powerful supercomputers in your pocket that can be your home office, streaming setup, and living room all in one. You might like it, hate it, or die on a hill for one. But regardless, I think it's important to take a step back and remember just how good these things are. Kinda sounds naive, but also not entirely out there. Yeah. So next time you find that one dude that replies to all of your iPhone posts like Steve Jobs personally in his cereal, damn. Take solace in the fact that you're a better person and doesn't take tech for granted. No. Thanks very much for watching this episode of Denki Channel, and let me know, what tech do you appreciate the most? Also, I would very much appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button. We are approaching 100,000. Here's hoping I can hit it by the end of the year, and otherwise, I'll catch y'all in the next one.